So this is the handover for the AutoSleepers Warwick. We'll begin at the outset of the back here with your freshwater filler cap. Key in, twist, and that allows then the removal of the cap so you can use a hose pipe to fill up that tank. Directly below it, onto the skirt, is your waste water outlet. So all of the water from your shower tray, your bathroom sink and your kitchen sink, it's all going into a holding tank underneath. Unclip the pipe from the spring clip and that will allow you to drop the water into an appropriate waste point. At the back of the vehicle you have an external gas barbecue point with your gas supply switched on. Use the fitting that's been provided, attach that onto your gas pipe, and then you can use that as an external point for your barbecue. Your main supply is connected into the side of the van first of all. You would then connect that to an external supply. It could be at your own home. Adjacent to that, provided with the van, is an alternative means of filling the freshwater system. It's a cassette hose which has a square connection onto the end of it, and then you can use that for single-handedly filling up the water system. And alongside that you have an external 12 volt and coaxial feed point. Just in front of the rear wheel you've got the exhaust for the blown air room heating system. Further along the vehicle and under the skirt you've got your access point for the isolation of the onboard gas tank. Your fuel filler cap just on the side there, not affected by the central locking system, just the ignition key below to open. The AdBlue system can be topped up, but you'll get an instruction on your dashboard if it's not done at service point to remind you that it does need to be topped up. When you open the passenger door, you've got your bonnet release. Below the passenger floor sits your engine battery. Below the passenger seat you have your vehicle toolkit, and then on the side of the passenger seat you've got your air ride system as well. Under the bonnet, squeeze the lever, put your stalk up. Over on the extreme right hand side you've got your cap for your screen wash. Below, your brake fluid, power steering fluid and radiator fluids, oil filler cap and dipstick. Should the engine battery become flat, you can jump start the vehicle by inserting the key to release this cap. You expose a little paddle which the positive can be attached onto, and then the negative comes over onto this bolt just here, and you can jump start the vehicle. When you first open the sliding door there is a press switch for the step. Step will automatically retract when the engine is started. On the sliding door side you also have your toilet cassette. Two-part system on this one. So you have a swing out top section which is for your flush water. You can use plain water mixed with a rinse additive and pour it into there. As you are filling that up, there's a sight tube on the right hand side which will also show you how full that reservoir is. For winter storage, pull that sight tube out and you can then use it for draining the system off. The cassette itself, having made sure that the slide is shut properly inside, you should be able to lift up on the smaller green lever and slide the entire body of the cassette out. On a campsite you'll have a collection point for these to go back into. So remove the green cap entirely and then tip the cassette up, pressing the green button over the sluice and allow the waste to drain out. Before you load it back in, use a base chemical and a sachet mixed with about 2 litres of water. Pour it back in, give it a little swirl around before you load it back in, and then load the unit back in accordingly. Underneath the back seat you have your Sergeant unit. Over on the extreme left hand side you have an isolator switch which turns off the 12 volt system in its entirety. If it's switched off over here you won't get a feed from the alternator when you're driving the vehicle, and if the step has been left out it won't retract. So turn that panel on, it'll be accompanied with a bleep. You've got Mains RCD points here as well. Start with everything switched off. Turn on the master switch, do a circuit breaker test to make sure that the supply that's coming into the van is safe for you to use, and then you then should be able to turn on the residual units. The reverse polarity light might come on if there is a fault with the 12-volt supply. There you have a green light which is controllable for the battery charging system, and you also have one for the habitation water heater as well. So if you want to use the water heater on mains electric, you'll need to have that one on. All the fuses are together. So there's a single fuse for the operation of the leisure battery. There are bridge fuses, as I call them, which link the front half of the vehicle to the rear to give you things like the 12-volt supply to the fridge. And then up on the front of the Sergeant unit, you also have 12-volt fuses for things like your interior lights, water pumps, 12-volt sockets. Having established your 12-volt supply in the back of the van, you should be able to turn on the 12-volt supply in the front. So press the button so that it illuminates as blue. You'll have interior light switches on there, and you also have your outside warning light. Water pump is selected from that switch. Turn your water pump on when you're not using the shower or the sink, and then water level indicators here, and also your battery level and solar levels being shown on that display. Press the home button and it will take you back to the front display there. By default you use your leisure battery, but you can switch over and use the vehicle battery either for charging or in an emergency, but we would always recommend that you use your leisure battery. Settings buttons allow you to change out and switch around how settings work, and also turn on things like the tank heaters which are underneath the vehicle to prohibit them from freezing up in wintertime. Below the seats you have your water heater. It's a whale system unit. For winter storage it's important that it's drained down, so you turn this tap through 90 degrees and it causes the content of the water tank to drain out. Open up your interior taps, the vanity unit, the shower and the kitchen sink, so that you're allowing all the water to drain out of the system. To recommission it, turn it back the other way and then purge your water supply through. Around the van you'll come across isolator taps for the individual appliances. So next to the water heater is that one. If it's in line as it's shown at the moment, then it indicates that the supply that's going through. If you rotate it through 90 degrees, it shuts the supply off to that specific appliance. In the cupboard below the sink, you've got the ones for the fridge, for the cooker and hob, and also for the room heating system. When you first come to set up the water system, you'll need to purge the water through. So draw the water through on the hot tap in the kitchen, and then repeat with the vanity unit and with the shower to ensure you have that continuity of supply before you heat the water up. The water heater is located above the sliding door, along with the room heating system. Having purged the water supply through, to choose your water heating options, press the top left-hand button, and you'll see a series of symbols coming up indicating that you're using the water heater on mains electric. So this is the mid setting for the mains electric setting. You can use it on a pure gas if you work wild camping, or a combination of a low wattage or high wattage electric and gas. There's a frost setting to protect it if you wish, if you're going out of the vehicle during a working day, and then a low level electric element, as well as back to the medium level electric elements. For the room heating system, it's a similar story. Press on the symbol and you have a choice of electric or gas operations, or a combination of both, to give you a room heating, and then a straightforward plus or minus symbol to increase or decrease the amount of heat within the van. To turn the control panel off, run all the way to the last symbol, press it once more, and it should then switch that unit side of it off. So to turn the gas on, use a piezo igniter and that draws the gas flow through. As the label shows at the back, if the burners are hot or if they are on, do not bring the lid down because it will cause the glass to shatter. It's a similar story with the grill and the oven. go clockwise for the oven to light, and then the opposite direction to light the grill. The fridge on this is a 3-way fridge. So to turn it on, press the button on over on the left hand side, and you'll see all of the characters briefly light up, and then choose your mains, gas, or if you are traveling from A to B, battery setting. If there's no supply coming through, if you can't detect something, then you'll hear it bleeping at you. In this instance, it's indicating that the engine is not running. For the gas, it's automatic ignition. To adjust the thermostat setting, just use this button, and the more of the sections that are illuminated, the colder the fridge will become. If there are faults within the system, then you'll see the hazard switch come on accordingly. Microwave is mains operated, so make sure that switch is on up above. When it first comes on, you'll need to select your power button and then set up your timers and press start. There's a tip-up sink in the bathroom which can be removed for cleaning. For the cassette, with the seat up, open the lever to one side, and then with fluid in the rinse, you should be able to push down on the blue button and you'll get a rinse water cycle go around the inside. Close over after use. The bathroom roof light, pull down on the casing and then push up on the brown handles like so to give you ventilation. It's important as part of your departure check that you make sure that all the roof lights are down and secure. Being tucked away, this one can easily get forgotten about. The central galley roof lights operate in a similar way. Push in on the button tab and then draw the handle down and set it into your desired position. So for starting up a Fiat automatic, you need to make sure that your foot is on the brake clutch pedal and that the lever is in the park position. Pull down on the lever for reverse and neutral. You might hear a bleep noise if the step is out. Drive mode, it will go into an automatic mode, but if you push the lever across, you can then put it into a sequential box mode and you can drive it as a manual, and you'll see numbers appear just here indicating which gear you're in as you go along. To put it back into the automatic mode, just knock the lever back over and the D reappears up here. Central controls, you've got heated rear view mirrors, central locking, and your hazard lights. ASR is your traction control system. It's permanently on. You could disable it if you were perhaps driving on wet grass or slippery conditions. Your ventilation controls, you have the speed of the fan at the base and the temperature control. When that's illuminated, that's your air conditioning on, and then directional controls from outside or recirculation, as well as around the cabin of the vehicle. The radio, when you first turn it on, it will ask you to accept, and you can then tune in your radio stations. For navigation, there's an introductory program which will take you through, allowing you to set up and use the TomTom system that's built in. Phone media can be connected via Bluetooth. You've got USB ports below the main central dashboard. There's also an additional USB and 12 volt to the left. Your clipboard comes up and could also be used for media storage for tablets or possibly mobile phones whilst the vehicle is in motion. Store controls, lights and indicators up on the top left hand side, your cruise control and speed limiter down, lower down, and then your wiper controls over on the right hand stalk. Behind that, you've got your headlamp beam adjustment as well as your fog lights. This has an auto stop start function on it, so when the vehicle comes to a rest, you may find that the engine cuts out as a precaution. That can be disabled if you so wish. Down to the right of the steering wheel, you've got your gas level indicator for your onboard LPG tank, and then over on the driver's door, your controls for your electric mirrors and electric windows. There are cabin blinds for day and nighttime use. Squeeze the two tabs together and draw the blinds over. There's a cutout behind the back of the blind to allow it to go around the reversing mirror, and then obviously draw over from the other side and connect via a magnetic strip together. When you're stowing them away, make sure that they are pushed firmly back into the frame accordingly. It's a similar story with the side windows. Again, a magnetic strip, and then make sure that they are pushed back firmly. They are quite delicate to stow them. So that concludes the handover for your AutoSleepers Warwick. Sincerely hope this vehicle is going to give you lots of miles and lots of smiles. But if you have any problems, any questions, please just get in contact with us. But on behalf of Hine & Camper Vans, thank you very much.